Call the roll.
This is the Rye Town Park Commission meeting, October 20th. Laura Brett.
Oh, there she is. All right, let's give a round of applause.
Commissioner Brett.
Commissioner Brett coming in from
All right, Commissioner
city, right?
Salanitro.
Yes.
Here. Commissioner Ronsenberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Pillow. Commissioner Sach.
Here.
Commissioner Carvin.
Here. Are you representing Portchester as well tonight?
I said to Benny, I spend way too much time in this room.
Okay, terrific. Comments from the public. Goldie.
Okay, sir. Thank you for allowing me. I'm the historian for the Village of Portchester, but I always come to the Rye Town Park Commission meetings because I love to go to Oakland Beach and help Billy hand out the programs. Okay? I just want to tell you that Oakland Beach is the best beach in the whole area. Rye Town Park Commission should be absolutely thrilled that Oakland Beach is incredible. I was there when it was raining, and when all of a sudden there was a rainbow going across. I said, oh my God! Here we are at Oakland Beach, and the band is going on, and the rainbow is there. It was beautiful, beautiful. Now, I just want to tell you something, because not only am I love the Park Commission here, that's here tonight, but I'm also on the Entertainment and Recreation Commission for Portchester, and I want to bring up something that's going on in the park, okay, that maybe you should know about. And if you have children or grandchildren or nieces and nephews, young age, this is what it's all about. The Portchester Recreation Department and TD Bank presents free Halloween in the Park, Wednesday, October 28th, in Lion Park, for children of all ages. The rain date, of course, is Thursday, October 29th. The event starts at 6 p.m. with a costume parade led by the Portchester Middle School Band. Candy will not be given out until after costume contest has finished. And we will have a costume contest with prizes awarded. Prizes awarded. There are also free tattoos. So if you need more information, call the Recreation Department at 939-2354. If not, we'll see you there at Lion Park on Wednesday night. Please come out if you can and bring children of all ages.
Thank you so much, Goldie. Thank you. That's wonderful. Other comments from the public?
Good evening. Thank you for letting us come before you. My name is Dr. Riley. I am a pediatric physical therapist, and I live in Rye. And I see many families. This is my daughter, Emmy, Christiana. She's in the 10th grade at Rye High School.
Wonderful.
And I go into the homes and I see children all over Westchester County. I treat a variety of issues. However, one family, the Ramsey family, two of who are here tonight, have really struck a chord in my heart, and I think that the special thing about the Ramsey family is that both mom and dad are committed to their three boys, Zach, Henry, and Billy, and they're also committed to the community. They get out there, you know, even though it's challenging for them to do that. They also have a special consideration that they are very committed to Henry, their second son, who has what's called Angelman syndrome. And Angelman syndrome, we would like to support and make our community more aware of one of its community members, and also just in general, Angelman syndrome. And Emmy and I will be hosting a walk on Sunday, May 22nd, hopefully in the town park if we're given permission, and that would be from 8 to 12 in the morning. We expect 85 walkers. They had that when we had to go across the bridge, across Tappan Zee Bridge and up in upstate New York, we had about 85 walkers. So because we're a little closer to the city, maybe 100 walkers. It's a new foundation that's coming out and doing all these walks, so we're trying to get it committed in the area.
And because like Henry is in our community, and I want to like make him feel like welcome and like have like make sure he's like not alone and know that like everybody is there for him in his community.
Wonderful. Wonderful, that sounds like a terrific.
That really
Way to
sounds
use the
wonderful.
park. I can't thank you enough for what you're doing, no?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a Sunday, May 22nd,
resolution?
from May
Sunday,
to
May
12th?
22nd.
There's no real resolution.
Okay, well, certainly I think you have the full
You have the
support.
first-
and,
Absolutely.
The board, and I really appreciate you coming tonight. And would you, we make sure we should, Bill, make sure we advertise, Bill, make sure we advertise this, get it on our website. Let's really promote the event so we can get as many people there as possible.
Great. Thank you so much.
Just stay in touch over the winter with the park staff so that you can coordinate.
Yeah, they've
And
been great. They've been
Right now, I'm
great.
free on the 22nd of May, right now.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
luck.
you. Okay, in fact, let's go straight to new business, Bishop.
Okay.
Item number 7.
All right, we actually just received this very, very recently, the film permit.
Yep.
Aliyah Ostriker, and he's a student, a film student at Manhattanville College. He wants to do a film shoot, and we have, the reason we're bringing it to the commission is we just want to point out there's a couple of things. He's only talking a few hours. He's talking about 3 or 4 people. But he's talking about November 1st and November 8th. As you know, we do not have staff as of October 31st. So we don't have any security people there. And our only concern here is we would probably have to bring someone in for that. Now, the
Why?
beach is open. They can just go on the beach as private citizens. I leave that to the commission.
Yeah, I think we should be fine.
Well, yeah, so I would say, I mean, I'm not an expert on film permits, but I know the city of Rye does issue quite a few of them. And, you know, when you come in addition to paying the permit fee, I think they also, Laura, have to cover the overtime for the police.
They do.
So,
And we have the exact same thing. You have to, there's a certain number of hours that you have to have the police there, and you have to pay the overtime for the police.
So,
Yeah, but this is a kid, right, from Manhattanville College?
Yes, this is a student at Manhattanville College. He's coming in with equipment very similar to what you see right there. And his entire cast and crew is his 4 other friends that are doing
I mean,
this.
in
So,
all
I mean, so
honesty-
given that this is a student project, I guess a fundamental question is whether or not he needs a permit from us at all.
Right.
Like, what would we do if somebody went and filmed their friends
Right.
on the
Well,
beach?
or if somebody filmed their family, for
Right.
example.
Right.
I think,
All right, there are no other needs. There are no special needs he has. There are no electrical needs he has. You know, there's no real other support. However, we were just being sensitive to the commission understanding that these kinds
Sure.
of requests come in.
did you want to say something?
We did it for a student at SUNY Purchase, and they were there for 2 days, and we charged them $100.
Okay, this guy's half a day.
and I think the distinction that Laura Brett makes is a good one, which is, this is not really setting precedent because it's not really a commercial endeavor.
Right.
Right.
That
Oh, I think
perhaps
it was a
something else
commercial
might be,
endeavor,
so-
it'd be far different.
Yeah.
entirely, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine letting him do it.
Yep.
Okay, tell.
Okay, we have a consensus?
We have a
So
consensus
what you tell him is that we don't
We don't
think a
know.
permit is necessary for this because
Okay.
it's just
Just a
a
few.
Okay.
student project.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, Rye Recreation Annual Turkey Run.
Okay,
Who's gonna
this
take
is
that?
something
Bill?
that happens all the time.
Or Bishop?
Go ahead.
Well, the turkey run is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and it's been done for many years, and they've gotten permission from us to just have part of the race go through Rye Town Park. I don't know what's been done in past years, but this is basically the same thing that's been done for many years. So
Questions from the board?
no.
I think it would be very unpopular if we were going to reject the request of the Rye Recreation Commission to have the turkey trot run through Rye.
Turkey
Town
trot
Park.
run,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Well, we do the turkey run every month up here, so why would
Yeah,
we?
okay.
Say no?
Well, just that there are, as we understand it, about 1,000 runners, depending on, you know, the collective race.
Well, they've been doing it for every year for the
Oh,
past
sure.
45
What's
years
the
or
day?
so.
It has worked extremely well, but again, we're just trying to keep the commission
November
informed.
28th.
November 28th, perfect.
Yep.
They did give a certificate of
Yeah, they've got the
Yeah.
insurance
Here,
here.
they've got the insurance, yeah.
They're covered if anything happens.
Perfect.
Right, that's
fine.
fine.
Good.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay?
All right, keep us posted on that, Bill, in case we feeling feisty, want to run, yeah, exactly. Beautiful.
All
Good.
right.
Comments from the public?
Do that right.
No, I actually, I didn't know if there's any other comments from the public.
Okay.
Perfect. Park management report, Mr. Gioffre? I'm gonna get you out of here in quarters.
Where are you going?
As you all know, we had a very, very good year this year. We had limited amount of problems. As of right now, the park is just about buttoned up. We have 2 maintenance guys there and 1 security during the day and 1 security during the night. Our triathlon went over very well. There were over 1,400 participants, and our security staff and our maintenance staff assisted the triathlon committee and people to the best of their ability. There were no complaints. We removed the aerators from the pond, which is now ready for the winter. Hopefully, we'll have a good winter, not as much snow as last year. The garbage pickup was switched to off-season schedule, which means that it's only picked up twice a week, Monday and Wednesday, so we dropped the Saturday pickup because we have no need for it. And then eventually we'll have no pickup. Parking and security, as I said before, it went well with the triathlon people. We had a couple of small problems with people bringing dogs to the park during the triathlon, and we had signs posted for those 2 days. We asked the dog walkers not to bring them to the park, and so our security were able to take care of that. The final weekend for beach operations was the 11th and the 12th. Now, as far as our finances go, we ended up somewhere in the vicinity of $193,000 over for the season. Terry, and that's a first, probably a first in 50 years. That was due to our keeping expenses down, and we had a special prayer request every day for good weather. And we had probably the sunniest summer ever. I told you about personality. Now, I don't know, Bill, if you want to hit a couple of these, the track club, and Resurrection School.
Well,
Right here, you got them.
The last part of the report is all the different things that have happened, even though we're in the shoulder season of September and October, and the beach, as Fred said, we stopped having lifeguards on the 11th and 12th. After the 11th and 12th, things have been going on at the park during that time, and besides the triathlon, we have a track club that meets there. We had the Resurrection sponsored cross-country race last Thursday, and there's a whole bunch of things listed on here that have been going on. And as you know from the meeting from the people who are here tonight, there are going to be a number of fundraisers next spring which have to be worked on over the winter. Many of them are the ones that we've been doing every year, so there won't be any major changes in them. But we've been trying to accommodate as many groups as we can during these off seasons, because that way the park it doesn't get overused, but it keeps getting people coming to the park, which is what we want to do. I've already reported about the sculpture exhibit at the park, which runs through the end of November, and we had a nice turnout for the reception, October 4th. So that's some of the things. The rest of it, you can. Are there any questions?
Wonderful questions for Mr. Blair.
Yes, thank you, Joe. Bill, I saw, well, first of all, I saw a list of your accomplishments in our packet, so.
I mean, the park's come.
Oh.
Oh, good,
It's-
okay. It looks like, it reads
looks
as
like
though
it's
it's yours. I was like, is Bill's contract?
I thought that's exactly what it was.
All right.
Information of senior staff.
Yeah, that was a report.
Okay, good. So, but anyway, number 18 says, new car counting hardware set up. Of course, one paragraph from the management report says that there is a problem with the parking lot entrance vehicle counter not reporting properly. Our computer consultant is working on it.
Well,
So,
Bishop is familiar with that. He's,
yeah. If you could either give us a...
Well, we did install a new system.
Elaborate on it and let us
Okay.
know.
The car counter is connected to our cashier system. When we dismantled the cashier system at the end of September this year, somebody did something that they probably should not have because the car counter has not worked. It reports to me every day, but it reports a whole series of what amount to blank reports. We have our computer consultant coming in. They promised us they were going to be in this week to look at the unit and make sure that it reports, properly counts. We know it's counting. What's happening is somewhere it is not connecting to the server that we have, and as a result, not transferring any data. All right, so at this particular point, that's all I can tell you. I hope to have it fixed, and I will email everyone on the commission once it's recording again.
Because it's a bit of a control feature, right? So
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
it's important that it be back up and running and
Without
we figure out
question.
what happened, to get it that way.
We tried to do it in-house. We weren't able to. We even took pictures of the inside, but he's going to have to come down, our computer expert.
If you get the information before the next meeting, you can send it to us.
Absolutely.
Whenever you get it.
Yeah, and Commissioner Sach, it is vital information for us in the off-season particularly, so that we know, for example, during a warm weather day, the kind of traffic that is generated even in the off-season, which the commission would probably want to know.
Wonderful, thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Bill.
One last thing,
Oh, yeah.
I think this has been mentioned in previous management reports, but starting back last January, we've had a series of meetings with the other organizations that are involved in the area around Rye Town Park and Playland, namely Rye Town Park, the Children's Museum, which is located at Playland, and the Friends of Edith Reed Sanctuary, also the Rye Historical Society, with the idea that in working with Playland, and I sort of bring this up because of what I read in the paper today about the delaying of the contract, but the goal of this committee is to have programs that would involve people coming to Playland and then possibly coming over to Rye Town Park or Edith Reed, try to have more synergism among the different groups, including the Historical Society, that would enhance people's ability to use the publicly owned shoreline that starts at Dearborn Avenue and goes all the way to the other end of Edith Reed Sanctuary.
Thank you very much, Bill. Any other questions? Okay. Financial report, Mr. Nowotnik.
Okay.
Or Mr. Gioffre. Okay, perfect.
All right. What you have in front of you is the report as of the end of September. As the commission is aware, most of our revenue has now been booked and accounted for. We stopped charging even our off-season rates as of the end of September. So the numbers you're looking at for parking fees, gate admissions are pretty accurate. If there are only going to be some adjustments, for example, refunds that may have been processed, et cetera.
Maybe just for the people at home, you're showing a $200,000 operating profit for September, but it's coming down
Right.
to 140. So what is the $100,000 in expenditure? You go from 842 to 942.
Well, for example, during the month of October, we have a significant security staff on and also significant maintenance staff. We pared down our maintenance staff to the 2 people that Mr. Gioffre mentioned as of this past week. So there's labor costs involved for those. The September period, there's also the what I would call the overlap labor cost when we had people on. And at the end of September, that payroll was early in October.
So you're not being
So there's
conservative.
significant, right, there's significant labor
You're not
costs.
being conservative. You fully expect $100,000 in additional expenditures.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
What about,
I'm confident the number that we're projecting is pretty close to where we're going to be.
And what about unemployment insurance? We always have that problem every year.
Yeah, unemployment insurance has been repaired. And when I say repaired, we are more or less on a fixed plan with unemployment insurance. What we used to do before was we were self-insuring.
Right.
And by self-insuring, as the claims started to mount when we let go of people, sometimes we had 50,000 in unemployment claims that we had to pay.
Right.
We're now on an even level where we're paying approximately, I think it's 4.1% right now of the qualified wages. So for example, the first $8,500 of a person's wage is dinged for unemployment at 4.1%. So that comes to that number, and we don't expect that number to change.
Good.
So
All right.
your year-end forecast is that we're gonna have a $51,000 operating.
Well, that's no, actually, no, the operating's 114.
No, operating is,
Okay.
And then you
right.
have 62 that you, of that 114, you're gonna allocate 62 towards capital.
We've already spent 62 in capital.
In capital, okay, got it.
Remember,
So
we
have-
budgeted 127, I think, for capital. I'm not so sure how much money we're going to spend in additional capital.
So I guess the question is whether or not we want to commit to additional capital expenditures this year so that we make that investment in the park that we keep talking about needing
Yes.
and not having the money to do.
Good question. What's the board
I
think?
think we should.
Yeah. We've talked about this for a number of years.
Yes, yep.
Joe, I don't know if for your edification, Mayor Sach, I should say, we had this discussion a few years back about making a commitment to the budget to balance the budget, and then if the proceeds or those dollars that we committed are in excess of what ends up being, that those dollars from both the town of Rye and the city of Rye would go into the capital fund.
You know, I think we've talked about that along the way, too.
Yeah, we have,
So,
even this
I
year
think,
we've
yeah,
talked
So it looks like we
we're-
might be at that point
Yeah.
to make that commitment, while it'd be nice for the individual town of Rye and city of Rye budgets to experience a little bit of a windfall, we'd like to have that commitment continue into the capital budget here.
Make hay when the sun shines, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So the question is whether our fiscal officer has established a capital budget for us that we can have those dollars deposited into.
Well, there is a capital account that has been established, so we do have a separate account where we would not be commingling those funds, but assigning those funds and applying those funds to a capital account.
So then I guess the resolution of the various boards, the town and the city, would reflect that it goes into capital, not operating.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And we could easily have a resolution prepared for you at next
Actually,
meeting.
Can we do that here? At this point?
Yes.
Well, no, the funds,
With the $50,000 surplus?
town of Rye's funds should be done by the town.
I don't think the
Doesn't have
city
to
of
be done by
Rye
the town
council would
board?
need to vote on that. I think we could probably vote as a board.
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I
we-
think-
Does it have to be done by the town board
Yeah,
versus?
Mr.
Well,
Noto.
that's what I'm saying, if it's,
Comments
well,
on that?
Mr. Noto is here. The question is, look, we're hopeful to generate a $50,000 surplus for this year.
Yes.
And as a result, we're hoping to be able to basically set these monies aside to a capital account for capital investment next year in the park. And we're thinking we should be able to do that here at this commission level without having the Rye Town Board vote on it, and without having the Rye City Board vote on it.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, you're in control of your budget, so yes.
The only thing,
Thing is, you can't bond or anything.
the only question became is that the town of Rye and the city of Rye independently have agreed based upon their share percentage to balance the budget with that contribution from their respective budgets.
In
Since the-
proportion to
in-
which one's
in-
contribution.
Whatever the 60-40, whatever the number is, I'm not sure, I don't remember, but it's a percentage of 100%. So the town of Rye has made that commitment, the city of Rye has made that commitment. Their respective budgets reflect those dollars that were part of the budget process. If those dollars are in excess of what is needed to balance the year-end budget, do they have to make a special appropriation or a resolution to fund a capital budget was not anticipated
Oh, I think
initially?
Benny's saying, you're saying something different.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
saying our budget has allocated $50,000 to Rye Town Park.
Whatever the number is. that's
Right.
what it
Yeah,
was.
okay.
Right,
That-
and you're asking whether or not we can continue to allocate that amount towards the park
Correct.
without
Resolution.
resolution.
That's the
Resolution with the city council.
correct.
Yeah, well, the city council would then reduce its contribution by the 50,000 you're putting aside in a proportionate way. So then they could contribute less.
We
We don't want the reduction. We're just
I-
I think,
Okay.
so let me just clarify, at least in my own mind. They were prepared to spend $50,000 this year, they're not gonna have to.
I think that's right, so we're not
So-
going to have to, so,
And we were prepared to spend 62,000.
Right. So therefore, we can do one of, well, certainly, when we confirm these numbers, I would look to set aside the $50,000
right.
in the capital account. That's the first thing. Now, are you asking well, that's a good question. We can't appropriate the 50 and 60 that weren't needed this year, I guess. Or that's your question?
Well, I just, I mean, look, I think it's almost a distinction without a difference, because I don't think the Rye City Council is going to put up much of a fight on this. I would say that the Rye City Council already allocated in its budget $50,000 for Rye Town Park. It doesn't say for operating, it doesn't say for capital, it just says for Rye Town Park. Historically, what has happened is that money goes to make up the difference.
Shortfall.
Because it doesn't usually happen that we don't have a shortfall, I don't think there's going to be any issue. I think that the city of Rye will be able to do it.
Yeah, we'll be happy
Just asking the
to
question.
continue
Oh,
to
it's a
make,
great
I appreciate it.
continue to
Okay.
fund it. So then we would have around $150,000
Yeah.
for capital expenditures next year, which would be,
All right.
Yeah,
So when
trying to
would
build
we-
up that
So
reserve.
I would like to ask a question,
Sure.
a technical question here.
Assuming the number is 50. I don't know.
Normally, we, because we have a deficit, once our audited numbers come out, we go back to each jurisdiction and say, you owe us the difference, your share of the difference of operating or your share of the difference of capital. The town and the city at that particular point make their contributions to make the commission whole in that particular regard. In this particular case, since we probably will not be sending that letter, the question would be, how do we move those funds into the Rye Town Park Commission, let's just say capital account or operating account?
That's the same question I asked.
We'll be able to do it. But I think we need to reconcile the numbers to have an actual.
Well, we wait for the audit
Yeah.
normally.
Well, that's gonna wait, we can do it in December, can't we?
I'm wondering if we can do it, right, right, just to make sure that
Okay.
it's already been allocated in our budget.
Right.
So the question is, can you send the bill
Okay.
to the city and the town
Right, we'll,
before you get the audited financials?
I would
And
assume we
think
can,
that you probably
Sure, you
could.
can do anything, yes. absolutely.
Okay.
excellent, good, so we'll,
Because
will
we
you
know they're
send the
gonna be
bill?
used funding, they're gonna be used to fund capital.
In fact, why
instead
don't
of
we
operating.
send that bill to both municipalities with a view towards allocating it, if not November, latest December,
Right.
to the capital account?
So if we have 50,000 to spend in Rye, your number's going to be keyed off of our number. So I don't know what the calculation is, but you have
Right.
to kick in a little bit
Sure.
more than 50,000.
Yes,
Right.
exactly,
Yeah.
yep.
And I think we had 62 in our
Yeah.
plan.
6238, I think is the capital.
Um,
Fantastic.
I also
Thank you,
wanted to
Mr.
call the commission's attention to all the stats in the back. What we did was we gave you the year-to-date comparisons in terms of the various volumes, be it permits, be it parking activity, be it beach activity.
Are we still keeping track of residents versus non-residents?
We're doing our best. The last calculation I did was we're about 80-20. Residents versus
Wrong way.
non-residents. I'm sorry, non-residents versus residents. So we're still very heavily skewed toward non-residents. All right, but you have all of the activity there. I do want to caution the commission, and we included a fee schedule as well, our current fee schedule, the 2015. This year was an exceptional year. We had obviously great weather, but I also want to point out we had 7 extra business days because of the Labor Day swing. All right, we are going to lose that when Memorial Day shifts next year and Labor Day continues to shorten. So we're going to go back to a 102-day season.
How many do we have this year?
We had 109.
Wow, okay.
All right, and there were 109 beautiful days. We really did well.
Beautiful,
All right?
thank you, that's interesting to know. Beautiful, any other questions for Mr. Nowotnik?
Non-smoking or smoking policy in the park. We talked about that at the last meeting.
Yes, to be honest, I don't think we've done anything on it.
Okay.
I'm not sure what we were asked to do.
Figure out, there had been Benny thought that we'd established a policy a few years ago, and you were going to try and dig out what that policy was.
Okay, find the policy. I will
So
have that.
can we put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
I will have it on the agenda for
I
the
think
next
you
meeting.
did circulate to the commission.
A couple of examples.
Right.
Right,
Right,
right.
okay.
Old business, you wanted to give us a FEMA update?
Yeah, we just wanted to give you a quick update. There are 2 documents here. They are essentially, if you will, the backup is essentially the same. There are 2 project work orders with FEMA, one that the city of Rye has, and the other one is the Rye Town Park Commission. They've been joined into what amounts to a single project because in effect they're working on the same wall. So if you go in there, I call your attention to, this is starting to move, if you will, so this may be an issue next year. On the back of, I think it's the third page, at the bottom, you will see estimated construction budget for the city of Rye, items 1, 4, and 5, is estimated at $331,900. And the estimated construction budget for the town of Rye, which is really the Rye Town Park Commission, is $627,000, including, again, both of them include a 10% contingency fee. So the Rye Town Park Commission is going to be faced with, in all probability, $627,000 project. Understand FEMA is probably going to fund, I know they're promised 82 point, I think it's 82.25, I'm not sure, 82.5 rather. And then there's been another kick to 90%. So the problem is going to be in trying to move the project forward, somehow we have to find a way to fund it, and the money will be refunded to us, or at least 90% of it, if not more, will be refunded at some time later.
When's all this going to take place?
I'm expecting that we're probably going to see some action next year. What's happened is the document you have in front of you is a modification that now accepts the concept that we've been trying to sell, which is the reinforced wall. In other words, there would be concrete rods reinforced. We would have a concrete bulkhead that wall is built on, which we feel will sustain storms much better than obviously the wall has done in the past.
Good. Other questions?
Yeah, so actually, this is why, Bishop, I asked that you keep the Rye City Manager and City Engineer in the loop on these types of items, because this is really their expertise, and so, you know, if you could just stay in touch with them on this.
Sure, sure. Ryan Coyne is also involved in this, so you know, I'm pretty confident that we will keep you guys in the loop there.
Thank you.
All right. The project obviously can't be done without both people agreeing jointly here. Mainly because it is the same wall. We can't do anything unless Rye goes ahead and repairs the street there, because the wall joins the street and the sidewalk. So that's why FEMA kind of has put these two sort of together. Although we're tracking them separately because there are different responsibilities in terms of the percentage of finance that each party contributes.
Wonderful. Any questions for Mr. Nowotnik?
Yeah, Bishop, just quickly if you can, are we still doing a design for the alternative beach access ramp?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I apologize for not having anything.
Somebody promised me we'll have a new ramp before the next beach season opens.
Yes.
We've been talking about this for 3 years.
Yes. We have met with the architect.
Suggesting that sandpaper we threw down doesn't qualify?
It's good, but it's not good enough.
No.
Anyway, so is Lisa doing this?
Lisa is doing it, and I hope to have her at this meeting next month.
Is she charging for this?
We actually,
yes.
That's a capital project. The board, commission authorized the expense based upon the anticipated budget that you had prepared.
Right.
That money has not been spent except for some soft costs towards
That's correct,
Lisa.
some soft costs for Lisa.
We don't have to reappropriate that in the next budget cycle.
No, that's your missing money, if you will, against the 120 some odd thousand that's there. Just to update the commission, what we have done is we've taken a look at trying to reduce the cost by moving the booth about, I'm going to say 70 feet away from Seaside Johnny's. All right, what happens is the contours slope down a little bit closer to the beach. The ramp then is a lot cheaper to produce there.
Makes sense.
And we're also still looking at the aluminum ramp concept that could easily be popped in at the beginning of the season and then taken out at the end of the season. So all we're talking about is this concrete piers, et cetera, and a relocation of a booth.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
the only question I have is the Seaside Johnny renewal is coming up in 16. should the commission start thinking about next steps for the,
We should. What's the date, December?
December, it's December 31st, 2016 is the current expire date, so he has all of next season. You know, I would think, and perhaps Commissioner Sach could weigh in, I don't know how long it took, for example, for you to look at your golf club venue in terms of changing vendors there, but I would assume you have to allow at least 6 months for that process, if not more.
Yeah, we should probably put out an RFP sooner than later.
I would think so.
Absolutely. We don't, you know, we want to start it in advance.
I would think
Okay.
towards the beginning of the year,
All right.
At the latest, no?
at the latest.
We would appreciate any guidance you have in terms of, I think you may have, if you don't have, I'll send it to you again, the existing licensing agreement, you know, if there are issues there that the commissioners felt needed to, let's say, be re-examined in a new contract, we'd appreciate any ideas from the commission that you could possibly send us. Otherwise, what we'll do is we will examine the Playland agreement that Tiki Bar has, and I'm not sure what else the commission wants to throw in.
Perfect.
Okay.
This is
Just
Gioffre.
to note,
Yep.
security ends at the end of this month, October 31st, so then it'll be Rye City's police department that'll monitor the park.
Wonderful. And the beach is open, correct?
The beach is open,
It
yes.
remains open.
Yes.
he's still open, Seaside's still open, right?
No.
He's closed, both of them.
Did anybody speak to him about the complaint we got about the music on the beach without authorization? Did anybody speak to him about that? I don't want to take up time, but you spoke to him?
I did speak to him.
I didn't know that.
understand?
I don't
You
think
weren't
he's
here?
gonna do it
No.
anymore.
No. They were denying responsibility and
A rogue,
indicate.
a rogue traveling
Yeah.
music man?
Well, they brought him in, but they claimed that he was not brought in for that particular week.
Oh,
That he showed up on his own that particular week, but they had brought him in prior to
I don't
that.
think he's gonna do it anymore. 'Cause
No, he won't.
I had it in
No, I
him.
can tell you that.
So I just have
He ended up by saying, hey, I'm trying to make the park better.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you, Fred.
Yeah, thank you, Fred.
Gioffre,
So,
yours up?
Mr. Carvin, I had notified you that someone had approached me about having an event, a stand-up paddleboarding event, a SUP they call it, S-U-P, next year. And because it would involve use of the beach on the weekend, I said, well, you probably should do it after the season ends, which would be after Labor Day. So Fred and Bill and Bishop, I know we have Jordan Triathlon the end of September, but if you could kind of just make a mental note that sometime between Labor Day and Jordan, maybe one of those weekends we could use for this. She said that she would make a written presentation and submit it, and when she does, I'll forward it to everyone. But
Wonderful.
you know, if anyone else comes along wanting to use that time period, if you could just remember that maybe we already have someone as a placeholder.
Sure,
So-
sure. I think that would be terrific
Why don't
to
you
have
send,
another event
why don't
there.
you send Mirsak a couple of dates?
Okay.
Do we know where, does Jordan already got?
Well,
the
as soon as,
advice?
I don't know, Bill might know.
So they have two things. One is the religious holidays, the other is the tides, because they try to have it at high tides for the swimming park. So one year it might be the third weekend, and the next year it might be the fourth weekend. I can find out very soon because the times and tides wait for no man.
Bill, do we post a calendar of events online so that
Yes.
people that want to potentially rent or do something at the beach, they can view that?
Well, yes, there's a page for all the facility rental, and the Terry handles the
From what Mayor Sach is saying, we can contact SUT and say, look at the calendar on the website.
Oh, well, you're talking, well,
Events, like we have a couple of events that are already,
we don't,
you have.
as of now, and in all the years I've been involved, the triathlon's been the only event after Labor Day
I'm talking
weekend.
events throughout the year.
Oh.
Like we have the other walk that we just
Yeah.
approved tonight, is that gonna be on the calendar so
Well,
people know about it?
probably in January, once we make sure they're definite.
Okay.
And then some of the things, like, we know the dates of certain events, but not necessarily exactly what's gonna happen until closer to the time.
And they're in our bulletin boards,
Yeah.
4 different
We
places.
update at least 3 times a month during this busy season, and then over the winter, things kind of just go on hold.
But as we're approving things from our commission meetings on a regular basis, we approve people who come to us and ask
For a walkathon.
whatever. Does the information get transferred to the website on the calendar?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking. Thanks.
And I'm sure we can be flexible enough to accommodate these people.
Great.
It's just they should come to us sooner
Absolutely.
rather than later.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, I got you in before. So can I get a motion? Sorry, anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.